All right, we're back. Halftime. Would you say nail biter? I mean, kind of.
Sure.
It's relatively tight. We had a decent lead there. We've kind of had the lead here all of the first half. But thoughts, takes, any early read have?
Look, I'm happy. I'm happy we have the lead. BC had a lot of pretty good looks that they missed. They missed some bunnies down low. Post had a couple down low that he missed, and the fracker, aka Madsen, he's 1 for 5 from 3. That's probably not going to hold. He missed some open looks, but you know what? We're on the road. We've been playing terribly. We are up 4 points, so I'm going to take that all day.
Yeah, 27-23. We shot 2 for 9 from 3, but BC is 2 for 11. 39 for field goals, 39% from field goal, and 34.5 for BC. So we got a little bit of an edge here, but it is a tight game. 27-23. On pace for a very low scoring game. I think our pregame sort of lines weren't too far off here.
No, and we're 3 for 4 from the line, which might be our best first half percentage in a long time. If we're 0 for 4, it's a tie game. So free throws matter, and glad that we hit those. And there's some positives to take away, but I'm very thankful they were not hitting their shots because they got some decent looks.
Yeah, Mark, what did you see in the first half?
Well, how about Ryan Dunn with 9 rebounds?
Yeah.
So how many times have we out rebounded the opposition this year? Right? Not significantly, right? Ryan Dunn I'm on, I guess, talking about him a lot. First time I think he's taken 5 shots in a game, and he's taken 5 shots in a half in the first half. Right? That's like It's like 5 times the amount he's taken over the last 5 games. So happy to see that. Doug, you called it. Reese Beekman, right off to a really hot start. 9-2 lead. Have you mentioned that DC got a couple of good looks, but I like the energy. I like the energy of the bench, and yes, I was going to get to that too. From Love the Who's, Gertrude plays a ton of minutes against. Sorry, Dougie. Against UVA, and then gets the goose egg in the first half.
Yeah, I'm stewing over here, Marky. So go ahead, keep talking.
I know. I'm sorry. You a cheese platter after the game, fruit plate, some flowers. It's I guess you're scratching your head about it. I love Peggy. Absolutely, Peggy Moore saying Tane look good, great energy.
Yeah,
awesome energy. But I think Rhodey had great energy. Dante Harris had energy. Buchanan did. I think they're playing. We've gone to that gym, that arena, so many times and just looked flat and dead, right? And I think this is one of the first times I've seen in a while at BC where they're playing with some energy, right? Where we're dictating the flow for the most part. I mean, I agree with you, giving up too many open shots and BC's not great, but who do you play at this point? I mean, Dougie, you want Elijah, right? Somebody mentioned Leon. Who do you go with? I mean, who do you not put in, and who do you insert? Who do you sub at this point? How do you know who to sub? Is it matchups? Is it based on matchups? Is it based on gut feeling? Is it based on the practices? By the way, you guys watching, Dougie?
Which one?
I'm watching. Dragon.
No, I see Dragon in there. I'm not myself right now. Go ahead. Keep going, Marky.
Dougie, outside of you wanting Elijah to play, who do you sub? Who do you say should be in the game?
Elijah, let's just bring energy, bring the whole thing, and let's go.
Elijah. We know you're
No,
going
I don't have good answers. I like to watch our players play. I like everybody. I love everybody.
I understand that.
I want to see them all play. It's just hard for me to understand how Elijah brings energy and does the whole thing, and hasn't touched the court tonight. I'm not sure where that comes from.
What about you?
All right, sorry. Bad answer, Fresh.
Well, and I get it, Fresh. I think Tane did look good. We talked about that. He hit his first shot. He looked really good off that curl. He took a very confident three that he back rimmed. It bounced straight up. That's a good shot. You know, when you hit back rim and it goes straight up, it means you're about a millimeter off from making that. And that was dead on. I will say when they brought Rhodey in, we immediately they went on a 8-0 run, and I don't think that's entirely his fault. But when you look at plus minus, and we do it every game after every game, and efficiency numbers, it's just a tough thing. Dante had a really nice move. I like that. He brings the flair. I know Forum is down on Dante. I'm not nearly as down on Dante. Because I like the fact that he is,
Thank you.
he plays with a little more freedom than I think a lot of our guys. So, I was surprised to see Leon get some run. I'll be honest. That must have been matchup driven, but that was kind of surprising to me. I don't really get where he fits. And I'd be interested to hear, if someone actually asked Tony, hey, why didn't Leon go in the first half? I'd love to hear his explanation, and maybe he addresses it. And I'm not anti-Leon. Again, as Fresh said, we love everybody. But to get back to Fresh's point, it is a head scratcher. You play the number 7 team in the country. I think there were 7 or 10 when we played North Carolina, and Elijah played a lot. Now we're playing an unranked, less talented team, and we've chosen not to go with him. Now, does that mean he had a bad 3 days of practice? I don't buy into the whole 3 days of practice thing all the time. I just don't. And I think he could be helpful to us. He's going to create. He's going to draw fouls. He had 8 foul shots the other night. I think we're in the lead, so I'm not going to complain too much. But we could easily be down if they had made some of their very, very open looks and some of their bunnies.
Listen, they're 2 for 11 from 3.
Yeah.
Right, and some of them were open. Right? Yeah,
those can fall down, right?
Yeah, the guy missed these 2 ones. Right, missed it. Wasn't, I guess, completely squared up, so they were off right. What about our shot selection, T-Dubs? What do you think of our shot selection? What do you think of the offensive flow? We've been very, I guess, challenged offensively over the last several games.
I mean, I love when Reese gets to touch the paint. I mean, he has really a touch around the rim and those finger rolls and banks that he makes. They're impressive. But I think Ryan Dunn going 1 for 5. Buchanan coming. I think he was 0 for 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we could get easier shots. It seems like. I think I just like the idea of Reese and Dante getting in the paint and trying to make something happen. It seems like that's a nice combo for us. I mean, Rhodey, I know he struggled a little bit there, but he did have a tough little jump shot that he hit, and he had a nice pass down low to Groves. I thought, that's kind of why he's in the game, to make nice passes. His rotation, I think I saw a couple of plays where his man got to the basket, but there might have been more. I'm sure Tony's going to talk to him about that. But
he scored. The bucket that Rhodey made was directly related to Tane. Tane drove into the lane, drew the guy. Rhodey could have taken the 3, but he pump faked, made a nice play.
Yep.
Look, I'm not going to complain here. We have the lead, but I don't get the Elijah thing. I think it's a big head scratcher for me. Fresh hasn't said anything, and he hasn't mentioned Brian Stith today, so something is wrong.
Half. Let's go back to my famous question. How many points would Brian Stith have at the half of this game at BC if he cared?
18. He'd have 18 right now.
Yeah, low key 18. Just to come out with 25 in the second half.
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't really have any takeaways from this half, and I wish I did. I did like the roadie. I think he's so good, so much better, I should say, when he takes one dribble. I don't care if it's from 3 or inside the arc or wherever it is. When he takes one dribble and he gets his rhythm, he's much better. And I'd like to see him be able to do that and play a lot.
Yeah, the Elijah thing is interesting though. Like everyone's saying in the comments, like why no Elijah? Why no Elijah? It is
They're instigating.
Yeah, Jacob with I won't.
Trying to get
We're hiding him. I call him X, right? He's X. We don't want anybody to see him. Carolina saw him, and they might, try to like circumvent the whole transfer portal thing, and they saw him. So I'm not sure. I don't know. We're winning. That's it. We got to win.
Yeah, I hope we can get and touch the paint. Like that seems to be the key. This thing, touch the paint, make things happen. It seems like good.
McNeely getting some threes, right? I mean, he's shooting. The ball is going to go in almost 50% of the time when he shoots a three. Let's continue to get him more threes too.
He started the game off with a little floater. I like that though when he does that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm trying to like find a reason, a pattern, or a trend as it relates to Elijah. I feel like Elijah gets in there when Tony feels like we are outmanned or under athletic versus our opponent. So like Memphis, right? Played a lot. Carolina played a lot. BC's not exactly that type of team that's gonna we're probably on the same kind of level with them athletically. They're not as foreboding as some of those other teams, but I don't know if that's the right reason to like play or not play a guy.
I have a theory. Elijah's high school team, Hudson Catholic in Jersey City,
they're
playing Don Bosco tomorrow night against Ron Harper's son, the number 1 guy in the country, I guess, going to Rutgers.
Yeah.
I think that maybe Elijah's going to be on loan back to his high school team for his senior year for that game. So maybe TV's resting him.
Doug, yeah,
I think NIL, like you get to go back to your high school for like a couple games a year.
You tell me.
Yeah.
I think having T-Dubs have an over-under with the amount of times you're going to get dinged and they're just waiting, trying to egg you on.
It's not. I used all my dings in Charlottesville this past weekend, and it's always great. And hey.
John's asking, is Groves does he have the red light? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Hey, John, how are you? He took 4 shots in the first half.
Yeah, and look, guys are scheming.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Tony mentioned it in post game. They're scheming. They know what we're going to run. We don't have a massively deceptive or innovative or effective offense, so they know what we're going to do.
Yep.
And they're scheming against IMAC and him to run them off the line, and it works.
I mean, is it the offense or is it the personnel? That's one thing.
No,
because like Groves can't get his shot off without some help. He's not like shooting over people. He needs to be wide open. So when the scouting report comes out, I imagine it's tough for him, like unless he's taking a tough shot all the time. Same with even IMAC, right? His shot seems to take a little time. He's not shooting over people. Nobody's like, nobody's out here doing step back threes and off balance threes like Kyle Guy and those others. I think most of them are pretty standstill shooters, but what do I know?
Yeah, I look. Let's not bring it back to me. Let's bring it back to me. My last year, I could shoot a lot of threes, right? And I'd come in games, and the coaches were saying, "Don't let Smith touch the ball from 3." That's Groves. People forget you just don't get wide open threes in your comfort zone because people see that that's what you want to do. And this is another reason we should play Elijah Gertrude, because he has no comfort zone and he just goes and you can do whatever you want. Sorry, Mark, I'm having too much fun. I see you laughing, which I like.
Max says we aren't running good sets for Groves. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, we're not going to run. There's not going to be sets run for Grove. Right? He's the 4 or the 5, and that's not what he does. Unless they play the 3-man game, and he can pop out.
He's a blocker, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the
So Fresh made a good comment. We were talking, I guess, before pregame. He watched the Kentucky game, right, Fresh?
Yep.
And the amount of open shots that were generated because guys were penetrating and kicking versus curling was incredible. But he made the comment that guys are like just slinging the ball around, like the ball's moving much faster. They trust each other. Fresh, tell them what you saw.
I saw it. Like, I watched Kentucky last night. I like Kentucky, but they don't look who they're passing to. It's the next guy. I trust him. It's like soccer. Sorry, Hap. In soccer, you can't have a weak link. You got to pass the next guy. Kentucky, Dillingham, he drove, he could have shot. He looked away, he threw it here. Reed Shepard, DJ Wagner, they don't care who ends up with the ball. They trust everybody. They're getting to that point. You don't look guys off, right? And it worked for them to come back and to win that game. And I'm not sure we look guys off so much, but we're very methodical in what we do. And we're not just slinging the ball around and making the defense move.
They don't run any plays, right? And they have 10 guys who are probably going to the NBA or to the NBA, and a large percentage of it is based on their athleticism. UVA doesn't have that. Don't have those players.
But step back, Marky. The guys, whether it's their system or not, they just trust the next guy. They just throw it to him. Let's go. You know, Tane to Rhodey to Elijah. Throw it to Elijah. Whatever.
They have the ability to go one-on-one, right? Those guys have the ability to go one-on-one, and they're so good in small spaces. So when they do attack, if there's a defender, you're going to have that lane to kick it. That's not the UVA player though right now, right? Maybe Reese is going to beat his guy up the dribble one-on-one, and maybe Elijah. But we don't know. IMAC, I think, if he's got an angle, he can do it too, depending who he's playing against. Jen is announcing that the game is on. Thank you, Jen. So it's a hard comparison for me to I guess it's a tough analogy when you compare.
Forget, Tom. He said we don't have.
Point I'm making.
We don't have Kentucky level, but I'm saying Kentucky talent is great or fine, but they're playing with each other in a different way. With that talent, you'd expect selfishness, and they don't have it. And what I saw last night, I watched them 3 times.
Player, W.
What's that?
DJ Wagner's a pretty selfish player.
That's why he didn't. That's why he scored 4 points last night.
He's been struggling, right? I think he's been scoring 4 points. 4 points.
The other guys throw it around. Anyhow.
I hear you. Game is back on. You guys all have it?
Yep.
Good. Cool. So we'll see you guys at the half. 30-28 is the score.